Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Friday, May 12th, 2023. My name's Jeremy. This is my first cup. Apparently I spilled some coffee. Let's wipe that up. How are you, everyone? Are you looking forward to Friday? Who is here? I'm going to sneeze. Let's turn that over. I don't need my phone. Excuse me. Good morning to Stacy and Gad and Frank and all the rest of you out there, whether you're watching live later or listening. Gad says, good morning, Whistle Kick fam. Happy Friday. Can't wait for the jokes. He says, might be I have to turn off the sound when I get a call. Hope not. Fingers crossed. Well, I hope your Thursday was as good as my Thursday. I had a really solid Thursday. I had a new client come in, and it's going to be a challenge, right? Not everybody that I work with is equally easy to work with. Some people are more difficult. And I worked with one of those newer clients yesterday. And it went really well. So I'm very proud of myself. Kelly says, TGIF, I understand. I'm glad it's Friday as well. And we're going to start off the end of my Thursday. We're going to talk about that real quick. You know what I did? I did something that is very, very difficult to do, very rare, so uncommon that we have to talk about it. It changed somebody's mind on the internet. So there had been this back and forth going on about boards on somebody's TikTok post. And it started with boards don't hit back. And I responded to that. And then somebody responded to my response and said, but boards, it's all a gimmick. It's all about picking the right board. It's not really about breaking the board. And so we went back and forth a few times in text, and I realized, you know what? This requires a longer form conversation. And one of the things TikTok allows you to do is respond with a video. So I did. I responded in video, and I explained that breaking is really about so much more than just picking a board. It's a way to test certain things. You can't practice breaking people's bones, and hitting a heavy bag is the same. And I went through in a couple minutes of video as I explained this stuff. And the person responded and said, I can see your point now. And I was like, oh, yay. And I said, thank you for having a mature conversation and being open-minded. Now, in order to do that, two things had to happen. Number one, I had to be open-minded. I had to try to understand that person's point of view. And number two, I couldn't treat them disrespectfully. Even though they're not so much with that person, but with some of the other people, the chiming in, some disrespect being thrown around. And if I was someone who did a lot of breaking, I could easily take this person's comments as disrespect. But I refused to go there. And I said, hey, let's just be kind and let's assume the best and let's ask questions. Now, this is actually the third time I've had somebody say this on TikTok, that I've given them a different way to look at things, and that maybe I've, if not changed their mind, at least opened their mind. And I'm really proud of that. Because who else is trying to do that? I don't think a lot of people are trying to do that. And I will continue to make that effort. Good morning, Brian. And good morning, Jenny and Nick. Dennis says, I wasted so much time going to college when I could have learned everything by talking to random people on the internet. It's so true. Just, watch a couple of YouTube videos. You'll learn everything you need to know. There was I saw another comment today. It was, so one of the many people involved in martial arts school consulting, they have a podcast. They posted something. They posted a clip. And somebody who seems to be a successful school owner made the comment under their Instagram clip that the majority of people in our industry, the martial arts industry, are idiots. Or most people in our space. He definitely said the word most and idiots. And he was conveying that he feels most people in the martial arts space are idiots. And I replied with, really? Most? See, to me, that's just such an arrogant statement. Are there people who are idiots? Sure. But most of them? To say that most people doing a thing are idiots is really just another way of saying, I'm so much smarter and better than most people. I really can't handle that kind of arrogance. So I will continue to make comments like that too. Respectfully, kindly. Good morning, Andy. And Jason says, good morning to you, Jason. I will treat you with respect so you know how to treat me. One of our class rules for a few decades now. I like that. I really love that sentiment. Because if we're going to be leaders, if we're going to teach people, we have to model the behavior. And this is one of my major issues with so many martial artists on social media, is that I think this comes from a place where, because of rank or whatnot, they're not used to being treated with disrespect. So they forget that as leadership, they have to model the behavior they want to see. So when they see someone who makes some kind of potentially disrespectful statement, they instantly go 0 to 60 in terms of being disrespectful themselves. They do that in their school. If they had a student on the floor who was vaguely disrespectful to them, would they instantly treat them with disrespect? I don't think so. I find that disappointing. Kelly says, I've used breaking boards to demonstrate the importance of the wrist twist by doing a self-suspended break with an upset punch, which is a punch starts from the hip but ends with elbow at hip. So very little movement, open student's eyes. Yeah, similar to like the 1-inch punch demonstration that I think a lot of us have seen. Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of power that can be practiced with breaking boards. Because remember, what's power? Strength and speed. And most of us are really good at thinking about the strength part. Most of us are not thinking about the speed part. And how about the focus part? All that power has to be put in as small an area as possible. Otherwise, the board doesn't break. So what are you doing today? It is Friday. I have no meetings, no clients. That's not true. I may have a meeting at 5 o'clock. It is unclear at this time if I have a meeting at 5 o'clock. I've been invited to a meeting at 5 o'clock, but for various reasons, I may be removing myself from the group. And I sent a request for clarification email a short time ago. And so I may not go. I may go work out instead. But it's going to be really nice out. We've got some rain going right now. It's going to be close to 80 degrees today. I saw 79 on the car thermometer yesterday. And today I'm going to take roughly a half day. I got a couple things I'm going to do here. I'll probably go into the office for a couple hours. And then I will call it a day. Because it's Friday. And it's a beautiful day. And why work for myself if I don't have some advantages, right? It's certainly not financial, not yet. At least I can take some time off when I want. Andy's lining baseball fields today. Awesome. Enjoy being out there. Kelly says, my favorite break is a 4-board palm heel since I'm not allowed to break with my legs anymore due to replaced hips. Interesting. I like doing reverse punches for breaks because people, once you get past 2 or 3 boards, Kelly's saying 4, most people don't break with their hands. Most people, especially, I know Kelly through Taekwondo stuff, and most of the people that we know mutually, most of the breaks are fancy kicking breaks. Great, not taking anything away from that. But to break 4 boards with a reverse punch for me requires a lot of focus. And I'm not talking about spacers, right? This is 4 boards stacked together. I can do it. I've done it. I've also done, I think it was both of these were at my 3rd degree testing. Just a standing 4-board side kick, just real, kind of the same idea off the front legs. Just pop the front leg. Nick says one of his favorite breaks is self-holding ridge hand. Yeah, I've seen people do that. That's a tough break. Jenny's got some food shopping going on today, picking up half of her kids. No, that is a reduced fraction of 2 for 2 out of my 4 kids. I'm not picking up pieces of my kids, leaving half of their bodies behind. Jenny, that's one of the nerdiest things you've ever said, and I absolutely love it. Stacy says that she hearts breaking, hands, elbows, feet, bring it. Only made it to 3 unspaced palm heel. We'll make it there one day. Jenny loves ridge hand breaks. And Andy, I don't quite understand what you're saying. If that's a question, I'm not placing it. You're asking me if when I break 4, if it's taped? Yes, it kind of has to be taped. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Yeah. And so this weekend, be traveling around a little bit, not much. Weather's going to be good. I'll be hanging out. I'll be doing some work in the yard. Sleeping in. Looks like I have 2 days with no alarm clock. Oh, the best. And we'll see where that takes me. Dennis says that I'm about as tall and built like 4 stacked boards. That's funny. That's super funny. What are you guys doing this weekend? You going anywhere? I know Andy's testing. Kelly's running testing. What are the rest of you doing? Doing anything fun? Let me know. And everybody do me a favor. Hit that like, that thumbs up, that heart, that star, yellow moon, purple clover, whatever you've got going on in the platform that you're watching. Yes, that was a Lucky Charms reference. Frank sent over stuff. We're going to see what it is. Next weekend, teaching level 1 martial arts teacher training and certification with Craig. I'm thinking of that right now because I've got a Facebook message from someone next to Frank's Facebook message. And the other message is, hey, I have 1 more student to send. Can you send me the link to pay? It's right at whistlekick.com. And yes, I'm going to send it to that person. Here we go. We'll open that one. Excuse me, open that one. Oh. Okay. Gad says, board break ridge is better than heartbreak ridge. Dennis, picked up his baby from school yesterday, and his mom may finally be going home from the hospital this weekend. Great news on both accounts. All right. Present. Share screen. The jokes for Fun Day Friday. Once again, May is National Photograph Month. Is this set up the way I want it to? Yes, it is. Nope, this one. I asked my photographer friend which pose was the best for selfies. He said, it doesn't really matter. Just take your pick. Popeye was a really good photographer because he was Popeye DSLR man. Yes. Did you hear about that photographer that got locked in his darkroom? By the time they found the body, he died of exposure. I butchered that one, but that one's good. I was the photographer at a vegan wedding this weekend. They kept getting mad when I told them to say cheese. Why did the photographer fail his test? Because he couldn't focus. I dream of being a selfie photographer. I can just picture myself doing it. Being married to a photographer is depressing. They're always looking at the negatives. There was something in there for depressing too. I was trying to hit that one as well. Why couldn't the photographer see straight? He took too many shots. A photographer shot his subject with a Canon. She was blown away. What do you call an unpredictable, out of control photographer? A loose cannon. Where does a digital photographer hang his work? On a JPEG. Why are photographers good problem solvers? They have a knack at looking at things from a different perspective. Those were good. Thank you, Frank. And thank you to Frank for all that you do. Thank you to Josh for our theme song. Thank you to Denise for our audio. Gad says, brilliant joke. Stacy says, I hunt with a Canon. And Kelly says, say cheese with the emoji cheese. And Jenny says, wow, that was nerdy. Ha, ha, ha. Some nerdy jokes in there. It's a nerdy group. Frank knows how to work with his audience. So one of the things that I'm doing starting today, and this was something that my coach and I came up with, I'm really good at getting work done. I'm really good at telling myself all the things that I need to do and the things I need to do better. I have not been great historically at taking time to acknowledge my own hard work and celebrating the wins. So now, as part of my daily process at the end of the day, I don't just look at the next day and decide what I have to do, but I look back over that past day and say, what did I do? What did I get done? What am I proud of from the day? And I actually take note of that in my calendar. And so one of the things I'm doing on Fridays now is to go back through the week and celebrate those wins. So the main reason I'm going to my office today, I've got a little bit of work that I'm going to do maybe from here. That's TBD. But I'm going to go sit at the coffee shop that I like with a maple latte, which is my favorite thing that they make. And I'm only having one on Fridays now, and look back through my week and celebrate my wins. Because I need that. I need to feel good about the work that I'm doing. And I do, but I need to be able to look at it and say, you did this and this and this and this, and good job. And that daily process and that weekly process is probably going to turn into a monthly process and a quarterly process and a yearly process. Look at all the great things I did this year. Because we don't do a good job of that. And I think we should. And I'm starting with myself. Oh, the puns. Oh, the puns. Frank says, I hope these were okay. I rushed getting these together last night. And Stacy says, this Canon carrying nerd is loving these. Jenny says, the list developed quite nicely, my friend. Stacey adds, got them together in a flash. Yeah, it says John Travolta would love these jokes. I enjoy how much nerdiness comes through in this show. That's great. Thank you. All right. Now, Frank did give us more stuff to talk about beyond photography jokes. Let's see what we got going on there. All right. I see a quote from Dale Carnegie. Success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get. So many people and I'm one of these people, are so focused on new developments and more and better that it can be really difficult to take a moment and realize, hey, I just did that thing that I've been working on for years. It just happened. That thing that I would have done anything to snap my fingers and have happen a year ago, it happened. That's success. But we keep punting on happiness. We keep putting happiness out there. And so we don't take time very often to enjoy the success. Perfect quote for what I'm trying to do later on today, or what I will be doing later on today. Take care, Andy. Don't misunderstand me. Just because you are happy with what you have and where you are does not mean you cannot want more. I am happy with where I'm at. I am happy with my life. It doesn't mean I don't want more. I'll always want more. But I hope to always remain happy with what I have. I have a good life. I've achieved incredible success. By my definitions of success, I have a tremendous amount of independence. I've made an impact on the world. I have my health. I have friendships with wonderful people. I have a lot of things that lots of people dream of. But I'm going to keep working for more. And I'm going to enjoy the process. These are not all Dale Carnegie. Number 2, too many people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't want to impress people they don't like. This was me for so long. And a lot of it, I think, comes down to, I grew up without much. You know, I did not come from money. I come from we weren't poor, but things were tight. And I didn't get the best education about money. And that, coupled with being an entrepreneur and my last business, we went through a several year phase where I did well. I wasn't rich, but I did well. And it allowed me to buy pretty much whatever I wanted. Because the things that I wanted were rather simple. Random crap on Amazon. And that continued for a very long time. And it's only been in the last maybe 6 months that I've shed that. And now I'm actually looking around going, look at all this stuff I have that I don't need. And I'm starting to get rid of it. Because when someone comes over to my house, or when I walk through my house, that speaker doesn't make my life better, or that random gadget in the kitchen that's been sitting there because I used it once, doesn't make my life better. And so now I'm being a little more honest. Okay, I want that thing, but how much do I want that thing? And how much am I actually going to use it? One of the things we talk about internally on the team is that if we float the idea of an event or a product to the public, say, do you want this to exist? They're always going to say yes. Just because it exists doesn't mean they're going to buy it. If I say, hey, what if we made gear in these 3 weird colors? What would you think of that? Oh, that'd be awesome. Would you buy them? Sure. Okay, put down a deposit. Oh, right. That's a whole different ballgame. If people aren't willing to put down a deposit, right? If people aren't willing to take action, they don't actually want it, right? And so I'm trying to do that with myself more. Why do I want this? I don't know. It'd be nice to have. Well, that's not a good enough reason anymore. Gad understands. He says, we need to go to AA, Amazonaholics Anonymous. One of the biggest things that I did that helped was I do all my financial stuff on Wednesday. If you've been around a while, you know that. I only buy stuff on Wednesday. Unless it's an absolute emergency or something that, like, I would never say, well, I don't really need it, like toothpaste or something. If it's deodorant, yeah, I'll order that separately. But if it's something that I don't absolutely 100% need, I wait for the next Wednesday. And after I've done all the books and looked at how much money I spent in the last week, then I look at my Amazon cart and go, ooh, I guess we're going to punt on this until next week. I'm not buying anything. That has helped tremendously because I found, it's just $20 today. Oh, it's just $15 today. Well, that adds up to, about $1,000 a month when you do it that way. Can't do that. And that's worked pretty well. I'm getting bless you and gesundheit. Thank you. I appreciate it. And what's our last quote here? This one's from Marcus Aurelius. Give yourself a gift, the present moment. How many of us, because of these things, phones, miss out on what's going on around us? I'm slowly considering, how do I spend less time on my phone? The challenge is it's work and it's play and it's social for me. And I suspect it is at least two of those three things for most of you. It doesn't make it easy. I'm thinking about getting a watch because I can't do as much on the watch, but if someone needs to reach me. But how often do people really need to reach me? Not that often. I've thought about having a second phone that has fewer things. I've thought about having a tablet where I put all the work stuff on it. So when I'm not working, I can put it aside. But the line for me between work and play is really blurry. I don't know. But I do know that when I spend more time in the real world, my eyes work better. I'm happier. That when I put this thing down and actively forget about it, I actually forget that it exists. I don't have that dopamine addiction in the back of my head trying to get me to look at notifications. And I feel better. I feel healthier. Maybe I'll go for a hike this weekend. Maybe that's what I'm doing on Sunday. We'll see. Dennis says, it makes me very sad when I try to have a conversation with someone, but have to give up because I cannot compete with their phone. Yeah. Stacy says, my vision starts to vibrate if I spend too much time on the phone. Frank says, I'm so glad I don't own a cell phone, and I'm happy for you, truly. But there are responses coming. There are more and more people using, if this is a smartphone, dumb phones, right? So we can call and text. There is a safety element to having a phone. I think that's valuable. My other main thing is my calendar. Quite often people ask me, well, what are you doing on this or that weekend? I suppose I could get back to them. But then how am I going to make the note that I have to get back to them without my phone? This is how I've lived for almost 20 years. I had a BlackBerry. before most people had cell phones, or I should say, I had a BlackBerry back when most people still had landlines. I've had a BlackBerry. I've had a cell phone since '99. It was one of the Nokias with the extendable antenna, because the extendable antenna really made a big difference. Gad says we need a portable EMP. That could work. And Kelly says, hoping to do some flower gardening this weekend. I keep my phone silenced all the time. My phone is constantly silenced. I've had people tell me I was going to call you, but I was afraid it might be too late and you'd be in bed. Phone's not near me, and I keep the ringer off. The ringer is off 100% of the time, unless I am expecting an important call. If I'm expecting, a call back from a doctor or whatever, I'll keep the ringer on. But other than that, no, ringer stays off. And people know that, because very few of the people in my life make phone calls. It's okay. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope whatever you're doing, it's fun. I hope you remain present. And I hope that you look at least most of it through your eyeballs and not through the camera on your phone. And I hope to see you Monday. Remember, if you want to support us in all the work that we do at Whistlekick, please. If you haven't checked out the family page, you're missing out. I haven't heard one comment which tells me people are not looking at it, and you're missing out on the cool thing I put in there. That's fine. You can also use the code FirstCup15 to save 15% on anything at whistlekick.com. And you can join the Patreon. I put in a new bonus episode yesterday, as well as updated the upcoming episode list. Thank you for everything, for all of you. I am so glad to know you, and I hope to see you on Monday. Take care, everybody. Peace.